Hello everyone, it's Yudi here for Mossy Earth, and in this update I will share you Wilder Reefs activities from last month. So we started the month with a survey trip to southeast of Sulawesi. So this survey is part of our efforts on looking for a new site to conduct reef restorations. So we are planning to do some expansions on other places in Indonesia. So early on this year we start by collecting online data like the satellite imagery of coral covers in various different places in Indonesia, and also some research paper that can help us determine where to focus on. So we end up with creating a list of database with the criteria that we want to do reef restorations, and we then decided to visit southeast of Sulawesi because we know that there is a history of blast fishing that's still going around in this region. And that's when we connected with rare conservations that have a base in Kendari, is the capital city of southeast of Sulawesi. Their focus on mitigating the destructive fishing practices that still happens in these regions. So their approach is to educate the coastal community and helping with the stakeholders or the local governments to create community on each of the village and the coastal area.
Terkait dengan kerusakan terumbu karang yang dilakukan oleh warga masyarakat Desa Mawambunga khususnya Kadatua pada umumnya, itu kami lakukan beberapa upaya, artinya kami lakukan sosialisasi ke masyarakat bahwa merusak terumbu karang itu sangat merugikan, terutama itu kalau kita ambil juga dari pidana itu kan merusak. Jadi kami dari pemerintah desa sangat tidak setuju ketika ada warga kami itu yang melakukan pemboman. Dan jujur kami beberapa kali, setiap kali ada pertemuan di desa, kami selalu ingatkan bahwa jangan coba-coba merusak terumbu karang karena itu memang tidak sesuai dengan adab juga yang ada di kampung kita ini. Itu untuk merusak terumbu karang itu memang sangat tidak dibenarkan.
So finally we decided to visit Kadatua Island and stay in Mawambunga village. And with the help of Munzir from Rare Conservations and Pak Ode, which is the leader of the community that doing the patrol around the area, so we joined on their patrol routines, and we visited 5 different spots to check how's the state of the coral cover in this area. And there's a lot of impacted area by the blast fishings apparently still going on in these islands. So the blast fishing still happens, but it's been reduced from 1 or 2 cases every now and then. So visiting Kadatua Island has been a new experience for us to see how the different challenges on the coral ecosystems, and also how the coral reef itself, it looks very different than what we usually see in Nusa Penida, and also a different challenge on the logistic wise, like in these islands, how when we want to do a scuba diving, we need to bring all the gear and the tanks from mainland, and we need to transport it with the public boats, and we need to stay on the islands with the amount of tanks or equipment that's enough for us, because there is no dive center in Kadatua Island, so we cannot get any new materials from the island. So we need to bring everything from the mainland. So it's been a wonderful experience, and for now we map all the impacted area on the map and we keep it in our database, and we consider it as a potential site, but we are currently still looking for other place to visit in the near future to gather more informations, and then once we have all the big pictures, then we can actually decide on which direction we want to do the expansions of our reef restoration project. After our visit to Kadatua Island and we come back to Nusa Lembongan, we continue our routine, so back in business as usual on planting coral reefs in Area 5, which our currently working area. And we also start with the fish village that we deployed a couple of months back. So we finished to populate the structures around the bell with the coral fragments, and we also put 2 bells in area 1 and 2 in area 2, and we are planning to deploy 2 more for area 3. And then this will be the set of a new trial for the reef bell and the structure around it. So basically the trial is to see if the surface that we created with the reef bell can help on the natural coral recruits in the project site. So it won't be probably, it's not going to be in the near future, but the observations will go along till next year. On the first dive, once we come back from the survey trip, we did a drift dive across the project site to see what's changing or what's new, and also if there is any area where we need to focus on the maintenance. We end up finding the same events that happened last year, which is the cyanobacteria bloom. So it happened across the project site, but this time we don't really have spent a lot of time on cleaning these cyanobacteria, because same with last year, we have it in our log that eventually they disappear by itself after a month or 2. So that happened last month, and luckily this month they're already gone. So they already disappear by itself somehow. The other different things that we do in Area 5, which is our currently working area, is we arrange the structure placement differently this time. So we try to put a gap in between structures every now and then. So not only we curious what would happen when the coral will grow around the structures, are they going to fill the gap or not? And also we think that this may be a way to have less structures in the same coverage of rubble. Soon after, when we visit Area 1, we actually saw the same kind of things that happened. So sometimes when you arrange the structures from this side and then it's met with the structure from the different end, sometimes they don't really actually meet, and they don't really, so they have like a little bit of gap in between them. So there's one case like that in one corner of the Area 1, which then the coral that grows around the structures in between those gaps, eventually they will fall. Once they grow a little bit like too big, they will break, and they fill in the gap in that space, and now they actually already attach from the ground, like on the substrates. So it's very encouraging, and to see that happen after 2 years, it's actually very amazing. Like to have these two different acroporas colonies that already grow so big, and they broken down into the substrate, and they basically stick there, like they grow, connect with the substrate. Of course, this only happened when, because of the rubble itself already stabilized by the structures. So it's really cool to see. And Speaking of the expansions, we also thinking to do some of expansion in Area 1, because in the west side of Area 1, it used to be have the Echinopora corals where it grow naturally around that area. So we keep the structures a little bit away from this coral because we want to just keep it as it is. But now after a while they actually degraded into rubbles. So the Echinopora coral is the one that looks like a cabbage. So they grow, the growth form is foliose. So they're very fragile and prone to break if there is any big wave actions. So some area are already reduced to rubble, but there's some place just in the perimeter of the structures that also have the Echinopora growing from underneath that stay not affected by whatever it is that breaks the big colonies. So it's encouraging us to do some expansions to stabilize this rubble. And maybe we're not planting coral right away, but rather to see what would be happens if we help stabilize the rubble there, and is the coral will slowly growing back, basically. So the other monitoring and maintenance that we do is we collaboration with Gita from Indonesian project, because they've been doing a plot of and taking some sample data from Area 1 for their research. So we had a chance to have them join us on our boat and go to Area 1 together to see how they do the monitoring and the data taking. So yeah, it's cool to see. So that would be everything for this update. Thank you guys for watching and following our coral restoration project. And I would also like to say a big thank you for Mossy Earth member who contributed on the Fun Extra campaign. You guys have been funded almost 700 structures up until now. So it's very awesome of you. Thank you for your support. And if you're not a member and you would like to support this coral project, you can do so by becoming a member at mossy.earth. Until next time, cheers!